Check 1, 2. Is this thing on? Now it is. Hey. Howdy, hey. It's Free for All Friday. And in the spirit of North American consumerism, we've got some Black Friday specials. And more importantly, abortion is at an all-time low. We'll talk about that and more here on Bible News Radio, which, of course, starts right now.
So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, thou shalt hear the word of my mouth, and warn them from me.
Have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them.
Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Middle Tennessee and examining current events from a biblical perspective, this is Bible News Radio with your hosts, Randall and Stacy Harp.
Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to this Free-for-All Friday edition of Bible News Radio. This is Heidi Parton's song, Nothing's Gonna Stop This Love, people. Yes, we are Bible News Radio, but we're going to have some fun this hour, I hope.
Looking in your eyes, I see a paradise. This world that I found is too good to be true.
That's right.
Standing here beside you, want so much to give you. This love in my heart that I'm feeling for you.
Let them say we're crazy. I don't care about that.
Like me and Bear Face.
Put your hand in my hand, baby. Don't ever look back. Let the world around us just fall apart. Baby, we can make it if we're hard.
Okay, everybody, you guys can sing this, right?
And we can build this dream together. Standing strong forever. Nothing's gonna stop us now. And if this world runs out of lovers, we'll still have each other.
I know.
Nothing's gonna stop us. Nothing's gonna stop us.
Okay, Bear Face, it's time for you to sing.
I'm so glad I found you.
I don't know the song.
He doesn't know the song.
Whatever it
That's when you
takes,
sing Watermelon.
I will stay
That's right, Watermelon.
here with you. Take you through the good times, see you through the bad times. Whatever it takes is what I'm gonna do.
Let them say we're crazy. What do they know? Put your arms around
Hey, Skittles.
me, baby. Don't ever let go. Let the world around us just fall apart.
That's right.
Baby, we can make it if we're heart to heart.
That's right.
And we can build this dream together. Standing strong forever. Nothing's gonna stop us now. And if this world runs out of lovers, we'll still have each other. Nothing's gonna stop us. Nothing's gonna stop us.
Ooh, all I need is you.
All that I ever need.
Don't you love that?
All that I want to do.
Enjoy the music.
On and forever, forever and ever. Hey!
Does she sound like Dolly there or what? I think so. I know, we're a Christian show, but let's have some fun, okay?
And we can build this dream together, standing strong forever. Nothing's gonna stop us now. And if this world runs out of lovers, we'll still have each other. Nothing's gonna stop us. Nothing's gonna stop us. Build this dream together,
That's right.
standing strong forever. Nothing's gonna stop us now.
All right. And we got us some Mandisa, who's a high soprano. my comeback song, yeah. And by the grace of God, I'm still here. Hope is rising, waking up my soul. I'm still here. All my broken turning beautiful. 'Cause I feel my heart beating and my lungs breathing. Yes, my God's not done with me yet. I'm still here. That's right, we're all still here. All my yesterdays are gone, and the best is yet to come. Now I see there's a reason I survived. There's a story still to write. His grace is working everything, everything for my good in a way that only He could. I know it's been a while since anybody's seen me smiling. Shame at me thinking it was game over. Thought my best days were gone, yeah. Turns out that I was wrong, 'cause this is my comeback song. I'm still here. Hope is rising, waking up my soul. I'm still here. All my broken turning beautiful. 'Cause I feel my heart beating and my lungs breathing. Yes, my God's not done with me yet. I'm still He ain't done with you either. Just so you know. All my yesterdays are gone, and the best is yet to come. Out of the pit, all glory to God, I will sing it again. Out of the pit, all glory to God, and the best is yet to come. That's right. The best is yet to come. I'm still here. That's right, just so you know. Hope is rising, waking up my soul. I'm still here. All my broken turning beautiful. I feel my heart beating and my lungs breathing. Yes, my God's not done with me yet. I'm still here. All my yesterdays are gone, and the best is yet to come. Do you believe that? I'm gonna sing, and the best is yet to come. Sing it loud. There you go, people. We could sing a lot longer. But you know what? We should talk about some stuff, and then we'll sing more later in the show if you'd like to do that. Okay. So anyway, hello everybody. Want to welcome you to tonight's show. Thank you for coming in. I know everybody's kind of like on a hangover from from Thanksgiving, except me. Actually, yesterday, I don't know how many of you yesterday, like I went and played pickleball this morning, and it was so funny. It was absolutely hilarious.
How funny was it?
I showed up at like around 8:30, and there was 5 people when I showed up. And so I walked in, then I made 6. And so there was 4 people playing. Then me and my friend Diane, we had to just play back and forth, you know, and we were like, man, is anybody else going to show up? Where is everybody? But I have to tell you, I was so cold because it was cold. I was so cold. It literally took me 3 games before my body felt totally warm and I wasn't like stiff, like going, okay. And I'm going, okay, look, I know I'm almost 50. I'm getting close to 50. I'm not like I was in my 20s, but still already, I was inside. Finally, though, all these people showed up probably like 2 hours later than our normal time. And I just have to say, I kicked butt, people. Mm-hmm. Yep. As always. So, although I did get beaten a couple of times, but it was because I had partners that were not as good as me, and also they were younger. I mean, they were like newer players. So did they really? All right, cool. So Liz is saying that they just installed pickleball courts near you. Hey, well, go and play. It is so fun. I'm just saying, it's totally fun. So yesterday, Randall and I, we kicked back. I had ribs for dinner and an apple pie and some Pringles potato chips. I do confess I did eat some potato chips too. Completely unhealthy meal for the day, but we did not do the turkey. We didn't do the turkey. We didn't do the stuffing. We didn't do the mashed potatoes. We didn't do any of the normal stuff. We just kicked back. We had fun. Those of you guys who happen to know, well, if you watched the scope I did yesterday, I actually spent a big part of the day painting these very cool cards. And I'm going to sell these, okay? Because I know that you all want them. Oops. And so here's the thing. If you want to donate to Bible News Radio, anything, I will send you an autographed copy of one of these. You can tell me what to put on them. And like if you want a scripture, favorite verse, you just want me to put something inspirational on there, I'm more than happy to do it. I will send you a couple of random ones. I want to show you. I actually laminated one of them to give you an idea how this would look if you laminated it. And this is simply an index card that I painted. Here, look at that. And here's the back. You can see that there. And I put some washi tape on it at the top. I don't think you can see it very good. But right there. You could use this as a bookmarker, or you could, whatever. And then, here's a bigger one. This is the actual normal size of the bigger ones that I did. And I actually think these things turned out really cool, just so you know. So, for a donation of $5 or more, I will send you 3 of these. Because, I have to pay for shipping and all that. And it was really fun. So I have index card size. And I have all of this. If you specify what color you want, then we can pick some colors close to what you would like. So this is like green and blue. These turned out really good, by the way. And I will laminate them if you'd like. This one's just purple. That's purple. And then we got some more pink and green. And it's kind of hard to show you all these because there's so many. There's like 70 of these I made. So I just go like this to give you an idea of what some of them look like. On the podcast, you're going to have to go over to... This one turned out super cool. This has like green and purple in it. And Randall did a couple, I'm calling these Harp Creations. Stacy Harp Creation. And this one is so cool. I love that one. That's very cool. There. So there you go. And we got a whole bunch more. I don't actually have them on a website anywhere. But you know what? Just say, donate to Bible News Radio. And I also have these ones that we did too. These are not done the same way. These are just spray painted, just strictly spray paint on there. This is solid paint without the whole card is paint as opposed to like half the card. So we did that. So it's very cool, unique. I love that one. The pink one is really super cool there. So there you go. So if you want to donate to Bible News Radio, $5 or more, just let me know. And I will go ahead and send you 3 of these until I run out of them. And then we'll make more. And mention to me if you'd like them laminated and what verse or quote you would like on there. And I can do that, or I can just leave it blank, and then you can add whatever you want. So all you got to do, if you want to just get one, go over to our website, BibleNewsRadio.com/give, and just donate $5 or more, and we'll go ahead and you put all the info in there that you want, and we'll get it right out to you this weekend. Well, by Monday. How's that sound? And also, you can donate even if you're an atheist. Also, we have my course. You know what? I hesitated doing this because my course is already so affordable at $29. But you know what? I thought, what the heck? It's Black Friday. I'm going to sell my course for half price. So The Stop Lying to Yourself course is now on sale through Sunday night. If you want to get that Stop Lying to Yourself course, it's 2 hours. We got lots of handouts and everything. Just go over to BNR 50, that's 50, and then the word off. It has to be that way, or go over to my pinned tweet on Twitter, and you can actually just click through that link, excuse me, and it will take you right to the course. And you can check that out and do that. So that would definitely bless you, and it would help us as well. So that's the announcement. Okay. Also, while we're doing that, I should get my paint. I just got a whole bunch of paint on my computer from my cards. Also, we want to thank Ariel Ministries. If you want to support Bible News Radio, please support Ariel Ministries. ARIEL.org is the website to go to. There is so much stuff there, you guys. I'm telling you, we have there's such a wealth of info. There's a lot of stuff there for free that you can get to grow yourself in your faith, but also we've been asked to help promote the life of the Messiah from Messianic Jewish perspective, the abridged version of the book for this month, and also the Harmony of the Gospels. You can save 20% when you use the coupon code Bible News. I think, yeah, you're going to put up the copy. Do you have it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Randall can show it to you. This is, if you listen to Daily Disciples, this is the guide that Randall uses. So check it out and consider doing that too. All right. There is a delay. By the way, while you're showing those Randall Pandal Bareface, I know it's not your real name, I want to say hi to everybody in the chat room. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I really super appreciate it. You guys have no idea how thankful Randall and I are for each one of you who come in, who support the show with your presence, your prayers, and your donations. Liz, thank you for coming in. Melanie, of course, still reigns at #1 superfan. Mia is on Melanie's tail at #2. And then we got Joel in there, and Jennifer, and Kathy all the way in Australia, and Jeff, who actually we got the blessing of meeting, and we got to meet Kimberly and Bethany, his family there. And I know there's other people in here too that have come in out. So thank you guys for coming in. You know, I was watching, I think it was Cynthia Bazin's Scope on Wednesday, and we were talking about, you know, what are we thankful for, right? And, you know, as a Christian, Lord willing, every day, Randall just went like this. Anyway, as a Christian, every day we should, you know, be thankful. And, you know, Cynthia was talking about how Periscope has actually changed our life and how thankful we are for Periscope. I can tell you, without Periscope, my life would be completely different. I can't even honestly remember how Periscope, you know, actually, I don't even know how I found Periscope. I mean, it was 2 years ago, and I have no idea. Hey, Rachel, nice, welcome back. Get your life back. Thank you for joining as well. You know, I have no idea, but I can tell you I love Periscope. Periscope literally has changed my life in so many good ways. You know, our show has, you know, prospered under here on Periscope. And, you know, we've grown on YouTube. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to YouTube, you can do that too. And follow us on our podcast page on iTunes. You can give a review. By the way, some of you have done that. Thank you for doing that. Just look at Bible News Radio and find our show, and you can review it. Don't forget, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. I'm trying. Anyway, pretty much everywhere we're at. What else was I going to say? That it? I think that was it. Anyway, so I don't know. But anyway, so I'm thankful for you. And I'm thankful for Periscope. I love Periscope. I've actually had the blessing of meeting people from Periscope and all that other stuff. And it's just cool. It's very cool. So without further ado, we should let Bareface come on and say a couple words. What are you thankful for, Bareface? I know it's not your real name, but what are you thankful for?
Well, what I thought was cool, and I was just kind of eavesdropping on Cynthia's Scope as you were watching it. Uh-huh. But didn't she say, like, name, like, one person that you're thankful for, and one kind of went through categories of things. I
Yes.
don't remember them off the top of my head.
She did, and I actually listed a whole bunch of people from here, and yeah, and a whole bunch of people actually listed me, and I was really surprised by it, and you, not just me, but you too.
Yeah, and that would be a great practice, you know, seeing as the scripture says to enter his courts with thanksgiving. You know, that if we to practice, you know, we don't have to go off the whole list, you know, count our blessings one by one. I mean, that could take some time, but just start out the day. I'm thankful for this relationship. I'm thankful for this possession. I'm thankful for, I don't know, this circumstance. You know, just kind of a 3 or 4 categories, and just name one every morning. I think that would do us some good. Because I caught on Instagram, there was a shortened version of something from PragerU, Dennis Prager, talking about changing the world, wanting to change the world. You can do it through one thing. It doesn't cost anything, basically. And that is the attitude of gratitude. If everybody was just grateful for something, that would radically transform our world. Of course, a relationship with Yeshua, with Christ, is the big way to do that. Anyway, so I mean, Christ in every heart would definitely change the world if every heart would prepare him room, as the Christmas carol proclaims. But anyway, those are more than 2 words, but that's what I got to say. I'm sticking to it.
Really? That's all you got to say? Okay. Wait, hold on a second. Why don't we take a moment to thank you, Lord? This is Don Moen's song, Thank You,
The
Lord.
Bible says it's a good thing to give thanks to the Lord.
Right?
Amen.
Amen. This is a classic song. Actually, Don's been on our show. He said we could play this, just so you know. Okay, here it is.
I come before you today,
Everybody.
and there's just one thing that I want to say. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for all you've given to me,
He's given us lots of stuff.
for all the blessings that I cannot see.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lord.
It's crackling, that's okay.
Thank you,
Turn it down a little bit.
with a grateful heart, with a song of praise, with an outstretched arm,
See, this is how you do.
I will bless your name. Thank you, Lord. I just want to thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. I just want to thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
You know, Randall and I used to lead worship at our church, in case you didn't know that. Is that a surprise to anybody?
For all you've done in my life, you took my darkness and gave me your light.
Thank God.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. You took my sin and my shame. You took my sickness and healed all my pain. Thank you, Lord.
Yes, you did.
Thank you, Lord.
With a grateful heart.
With a grateful heart, with a song of praise, with an outstretched arm, I will bless your name. Thank you, Lord. I just want to thank you,
lift our voices. We thank you for all you've done, for all you're going to do.
You know,
Oh, we bless
what's
you.
really cool is that when we get into heaven, we are going to be praising God. And, you know, it's interesting. One of the things I often hear people say is, well, I don't like to worship. I don't like to sing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, then you're not going to like heaven a whole lot. Because if you can't spend time praising Christ today, you know, down here, even when things aren't perfect, when you get to heaven, you know, you might feel a little bit dumb, kind of like, yeah, I probably should have did that when I was down here, right?
I think if there's a reluctance or resistance to worship now, I'd say that stems from either not understanding who he is or not understanding who we are.
Yep.
And when you understand both, it's easy to do. That is to worship.
You know what I
praise
find?
him.
You know what I find interesting though is what I find interesting is that in the New Age world and in the positivity movement, which is often attached to New Age thinking, they all get it, right? They get, you know, like Oprah. Oprah's not a Christian.
Thank the universe.
Oprah is a New Ager. Okay, she's not a born again believer. She's even said that herself. She'll say she's a Christian, but she doesn't believe in Jesus the way the Bible talks about. She's a New Ager. And, you know, don't hate me. I know some of you are going to hate me for saying that, but you know what? That's the truth. She's a New Ager. She doesn't worship Christ. She doesn't bow the knee to him. In fact, she has stated more than once that he isn't the only way to heaven, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, the thing is, even she gets that gratitude and thankfulness is something that's good for our health. Even on a cellular level, you know, that's where our gratitude comes from, right? I mean, we are healthier when we're thankful. And it doesn't mean, like, if you have horrible stuff going on in your life that you're like, well, Lord, I thank you that my kid just died or whatever, or I thank you that blah, blah, blah. Because, you know, no, that's not the point. The point is that we're thankful. God gives us joy. I don't you? You're speaking the truth, huh? What? Oh, hi, Steve. Steven. Steven is going to be our guest in next Wednesday. You guys are going to love this, I'm telling you. Anyway, what I'm saying is that, you know, the Bible says to give thanks in all things. You don't hate me? Oh, that's good. I hope you don't hate me because I've been drinking out of your coffee cup for the last week and I'm thinking about you every day. Anyway, but it says to give thanks in all things. It doesn't say it doesn't say give thanks for all things. It says give thanks in all things. And you know, somebody came in here a couple of days ago, and this is a typical troll question, right? Or a comment about God, like, well, your God, you know, delights in infants being raped, and your God delights in women being abused, and blah blah, and all this other stuff. And how come your God allows all this other stuff? And I forgot who it was, what guest that I had that said this, but I thought, man, this is the perfect response to this. Ready for it? Okay, so let's just say somebody comes in, they got an axe to grind with God, right? A lot of people do, because they don't know who he is, because they don't bother reading the book. The proper response to that is, you know what? Why do men stand by and let babies be raped? Why do men and women, adult men and women, allow other adult women and men to sexually assault other people? Why?
Or personal. Why do you ask that person? Why do you allow it?
Yeah, why do you do it?
Or allow it? See,
this is what irks me to no end. I'm going to rant just for a minute. Okay? Because I can. And what are you going to do? Shut me off? If you do, oh well. Here's the thing. Right? How do I say this? There is evil in the world. And most people put their head in the sand like an ostrich. And, you know, when an ostrich has its head in the sand, it's really a good way to be able to kick him in the butt. You know, and it's funny because I actually had an unbeliever quote to me a passage about the ostrich with his head in the sand and actually say to me, this is how most of the church is. Right? Let's take the homosexual issue as an example. Right? For over, I don't know, let's say, for sake of argument, 15 years, I've been sitting behind a microphone telling people about the homosexual agenda, right? I've been trying to tell people that the goal of the homosexual agenda is to indoctrinate the culture until we're comfortable with same-sex marriage, and we're comfortable with men being with men, women being with women, and all this other stuff. And I have to tell you something. I'm gonna say this, okay? Over the weekend, I signed up for CRTV, okay? CRTV.com. And the reason I signed up for it is because Phil Robertson has a show on there called In the Woods with Phil. And he did a little video on there. It was about 10 minutes long, and it was awesome. He actually talked about the differences between male ducks and female ducks. It was so cool. He was sitting there in the woods, you know, making a duck call or whatever. And anyway, so he was talking about the differences between male ducks and female ducks. And he talked about how female ducks like to talk, when you get them all together, they all talk a lot. And he it was so funny. He did a duck call of a female duck. And it I can't do it, but it was really good, and it made me laugh. I was like, yeah, that's kind of how women are. And then he did a duck call with a male duck. And it was like, poo, poo. In fact, I know I have a duck call around here somewhere. But anyway, and in fact, I remember when I talked to Willie Robertson, I actually had my duck call. And I said, hey, Willie, I got a duck call from you guys. And I blew it. And he's like, that's a sick duck. It's pretty funny. But anyway, Phil goes on and he talks about how when female ducks are all together, they talk a lot. And when male ducks are around, they just do one little quack or whatever it was they do. And he was talking about how, you know, female ducks, how they lay eggs, and how there's no way to, like, a male duck could do that. Like, hello, like women, you know, only women could give birth to another human being. I know Oprah and her stupidity promoted a so-called pregnant man. I mean, seriously, basically, there's no such thing as pregnant men. There isn't, just so you know. Men have no uteruses, just so you know. And they cannot get pregnant. Women who take male hormones, who grow beards and then they get pregnant, are women who are actually taking male hormones and they're pretending to be a man, screwing up their body like Chastity Bono did, and other people, which I could go down that rabbit hole. But back to the point. The underlying goal of the gay agenda, you have to understand this, keep this right, and you guys have to really go over, you're going to love Stephen when he comes on. But the North American Man-Boy Love Association, their goal, this is a group of pedophiles, by the way, their goal is sex before 8 or it's too late. They are intrinsically tied to the homosexual lobby, all right? Now, I know people don't like to hear that, and, you know, oh, what you're saying is all homosexuals are predators, blah, blah. That's actually not what I'm saying at all, but what I am saying is historically, the facts are there. Alfred Kinsey was a complete pervert who was able to get research published in the 40s on molesting infants. And there was no outrage. Okay, think about it for a minute. Let's go back to the 40s. I was born in 68. My mother was born in 1944, and she would have turned 73 if she was still alive. In the 1940s, Kinsey was able to get research published advocating and actually documenting sexual abuse of infants. This was his so-called research, right? Where was the outrage? Meanwhile, fast forward all these years later, Oprah Winfrey is taking Kinsey's data, right, and throwing out the lie that 10% of the population is born gay. That's not true either. It's not true. It's a flat out lie. I believe the stats are 1 to 3% of the population identifies as homosexual, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender, and even those numbers fluctuate. And many of those people leave, and they only self-identify part of the time. They don't even stay there. It's not, it's not all that. So the enemy, he wants to wipe out gender, like Stephen was saying in the chat room. That's his goal, right? And this is part of the comment that Phil was making too, is that if somebody comes to you and says, well, gender doesn't matter, right? We don't need gender on our driver's licenses. Gender really isn't defined by what's between your legs. It's only defined by what's in your brain. Then they're out of their mind. They're absolutely crazy. They're crazy. Gender does matter. And you know why gender matters? Because God created male and female. He created them both. And it's interesting to me, as a female, how stupid the world would be. How pathetic it would be without men. I'm sorry, I love men. If there's no use for one gender, and we can be whatever the heck gender we want, then, why don't we just kill all of ourselves and just be done with it, right? I mean, it's so stupid, and so, so the point is that the culture lies. They lie to us all the time. And we as Christians, as Bible-believing followers of Jesus Christ, we have to take the commandments of God seriously. We have to take what God wrote in his word literally, and we have to be bold enough to proclaim, the truth that there is male and female. And you're like, well, why are you talking about this? I'm going to tell you why, just really fast. Number one, my background. I happen to have a master's in clinical psychology, and I'm a trained marriage and family therapist. I'm trained to help couples, not women couples or boy couples or homosexual couples, but male and female couples. Marriage, regardless of what the idiotic Supreme Court says, is one man and one woman. It's not what the dumb Supreme Court said. And just because the state and the union, the government says one thing does not mean that it's true. Abortion was legalized in 1973, slaughtering gazillions and millions and millions and millions of innocent blood and babies. And meanwhile, we're just sitting back, whatever. Oh, who cares that we just lost a life in the womb again because of a lie straight from the pit of hell. The very first Operation Rescue meeting I ever went to, you know who was out there protesting it? Homosexual activists. Right? True story. I went down to LA and Randall Terry was down there. I was about 19 years old. I went down there. Gosh, that was like 30 years ago. I'll never forget it. It was raining in California. Went down there. I sat in front of the abortion clinics. And this is what I learned at that young age. Went down there, sat there, prayed in front of the abortion clinic with some of my friends. My friend Colleen in particular. Colleen, I love her. Colleen was radical. So we were down there and we were praying and trying to get women and their boyfriends or husbands or whoever it was to not go in there and kill their baby, right? Just praying. That's all we were doing, just praying. And then all of a sudden, the police showed up. And the media showed up. And the police got out and they're like, hey, you better disperse right now. You're creating a public nuisance. You are creating a disturbance of the peace, blah, blah, blah. Which all we were doing was sitting there and praying, not even making noise, right? And the police said, hey, you know what? If you don't leave right now, then we're going to arrest you. Well, my girlfriend Colleen decided she was going to stay and get arrested. Me, I regret that I didn't to this day. I probably should have gotten arrested because you know what? Today I would, but then I didn't. But you know what I did instead was I went and I talked to the media because the good old liberal media was there with a whole bunch of homosexual activists. And so who was creating the ruckus in the public, display of embarrassment? It was the gay activists and it was the feminist woman from like Code Pink and places like that. We're going, keep your laws off my body, keep your laws off my body, boom, 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 and doing this satanic chant. And it was satanic. Let's just call it what it is, okay? And I'm like, golly, you're like full of love, aren't you? Well, I'll never forget it because this homosexual guy came up, spit on me. And I'm like, this is interesting. Thank you very much. I did that. The homosexuals left. The code pinkers left. And I was standing there. I talked to the media. Well, we would like to interview you. Why are you here? I said, because I want babies to live. Hello? Duh. Well, thank you for letting us interview you, ma'am. You know, we'll show the news piece tonight at 9 o'clock on blah, blah, blah. Whatever news network it was. I went home later that night, and I turned on the TV anxiously to await the coverage of what happened that day in front of the abortion clinic. And you know what I saw? Awesome editing. I saw them portraying the gay activists as if they were the ones being persecuted. I saw them portraying the women being bullied by people who were praying. I mean, I saw completely the opposite of what happened, and I was there. And you know what? I have to just give a shout out to people like Lila Rose and other people who have actually gone undercover with, you know, with their cameras and documented the horror that takes place inside this. And I've actually give public praise and thanks to the Benham brothers, Flip Benham, their father, David and Jason Benham, and others who stand out there. Father Frank Pavone, you know, him, and the many Catholic Christians who are actually more faithful in their walk with God than many so-called Protestant Christians, you know, who actually day after day, week after week, go and minister into the abortion clinics. And why am I bringing all this up? I'm just going to say I'm bringing it up because there was actually a really good story over on LifeSite News. I actually tweeted it out. I think I sent it to you too, Randall, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is what it says. It says here, abortions in the United States hit an all-time low. More babies are saved from abortion than ever. And if you don't think that sidewalk counseling helps, or it actually helps, you're wrong. I'm going to tell you. More babies have been saved because faithful men and women go and pray in front of abortion clinics and help people than you would know. In fact, I can tell you a story when Randall and I were in California. There was a group of faithful, charismatic Catholics who go out in front of the abortion clinic on Chapman Avenue down there. And I have to say, I remember going out, hanging out with them one time, and there was a young couple that showed up, and the boyfriend left, and the girl was in tears, and she had to be about, I don't know, 20 or something. And so we took her over to a coffee, I think it was a donut shop that was in a strip mall. We took her in there and we talked to her and we said, hey, what's your story? What's your story? What is your issue? And she said, well, you know, I'm married. I guess she was married. And, you know, this is like my third child and we're not sure we can do it, blah, blah. And, you know, and I really don't want an abortion, but I was thinking I should get one. So I decided to come down and here you guys were. And so what we did was we armed her with truth. We said, hey, did you know, I know if money's an issue, did you know that crisis pregnancy centers all across America can help you with diapers, with parenting classes, even with a place to stay if you need it? Did you know that? No, I didn't know that. Really? You didn't know it? Okay, well, now you know. Here's some info. Go and get some help. And you know what? She turned away. She didn't abort her baby. Sometimes that's all a person needs is a little bit of truth, right? But we live in such a culture today that lie. They lie. They don't tell the truth. And, you know, people like me, who, you know, I'm full of the truth, although some people would say I'm full of something else. You know, I often take for granted what I know, but don't ever take for granted what you know because you don't know what other people don't know. And that's why you have to keep telling the truth, right? I mean, the generation that's below me, that would be my children if God blessed me with children, they don't know. I was in grad school, and I've shared this before, but in case you haven't heard it, I was in my training as a therapist. I was sitting in a supervisor meeting, getting my hours, and one of the other interns in there said, oh, I have a case today I want to talk about. So we all listened, and she said, She said, I have a client who wants to get some help with her unplanned pregnancy. And I want to know, where should I send her to get help? Well, the liberal clinician, the MFT, the marriage family therapist, who was leading the group, she actually said, well, yeah, the only place we refer to is Planned Parenthood. And I'm sitting in there, and she said, the leader, she said, well, is there any other place? Does anybody else have any other recommendations? I raised my hand. I knew that other therapist was a Christian. I raised my hand, and I said, you know what, how about a crisis pregnancy center? You know, that actually has other resources. There's a whole book over here in our library, right here, a resource library. It has all these things in there. This liberal supervisor said to me, I didn't know that. And I said, well, just so you know, I'm pro-life. And that supervisor, clinician who was signing my hours, she said, well, just so you know, I march and pro-choice rallies. And I said, well, just so you know, I actually march in the pro-life ones. I've probably been in the same place you were. You know, you were on one side, I was on the other side. You know what she said? She looked at me and she smiled. She goes, you know what? I already like you. She already liked me. She couldn't not like me, but she already liked me. And so she said to the lady, she goes, yeah, don't worry. You know, yeah, just listen to Stacy. It's okay. And I'm like, yeah, okay, so you guys don't know that you can refer people to crisis pregnancy centers and not Planned Parenthood, who doesn't give a rip about babies or women? Just so you know, okay? Yeah, just so you know. Anyway, and so anyway, let me read this article. Sorry, Randall, I just went on my own tangent here. It says here, abortion numbers fell again in 2014, sinking to their lowest in more than 4 decades, according to a new Centers for Disease Control report. By the way, this was published 2 days ago. The CDC reports 652,639 abortions were performed in the United States in 2013. You guys catch that number? That's huge. A 2% decrease from 2014. Abortions are down 21% across the past decade. That's something to rejoice over. The abortion rate, the number of abortions per 1,000 women of childbearing age, also dropped 12.1 to a 2% decrease from the previous year. The CDC data is incomplete because the government does not require states to report abortion numbers. However, yeah, you wonder why, right? However, reports from the pro-abortion Guttmacher Institute also indicate abortions are dropping across the U.S. Last year, when the CDC released its 2013 report, the AP noted that the CDC has not recorded a lower abortion rate since 1971, 2 years before the U.S. Supreme Court ruled on Roe v. Wade and its companion case Doe v. Bolton, which allowed for legalized abortion on demand through all 9 months of pregnancy. In 1971, several states had legalized abortion, but it was not legal throughout the U.S. This new report indicates that abortions have dropped even lower. Notably, in the past decade, the report found that teen abortions dropped nearly 50%. Praise God for that. You know why? Let's think about that just for a minute. If teen abortion rates are dropping, then here's the thing. That means fewer girls are being involved that way, number one. And number two, it also means that the generation that's going to take care of you and me is actually going to grow up. They're probably going to have kids in the right context, and they will be living, and there'll be somebody to support the population. You know, in China, where they have that one-child policy for a long time, do you know that it really screwed up China's population over there? Because killing off one child, killing off all these other children in China have actually left China in a mess, because nobody's going to be around to take care of the old people, just so you know. Anyway, goes on to say here, more than 90% of abortions were performed by the 13-week gestation mark, while 1.3%, 5,578 unborn babies were aborted past 21 weeks gestation, according to the report. So, okay, think about that, right? So we got 13 weeks, 3 months, right? A little over 3 months, versus 21 weeks, which is like 5 months, right? Over 5 months. That's insane, you guys. That's completely insane. The report also indicates that 4 women died from abortions in 2013, the most recent year for which data is available. By the way, that number is probably way underestimated. More women die from abortion than you would think. Not only that, but the other complications done to women, like them being sterile afterwards, that's often problems within utero, miscarriages, depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder. A whole bunch of things happen to women as a result of that. I know some of you actually in our audience, some of you are my friends, you've had abortion. I've seen God work in your life, and I've heard your stories. And you know, Planned Parenthood doesn't tell you any of that, right? Doesn't tell you any of that. Anyway, you can read the whole article if you go over to lifenews.com. Lifenews.com is the place to go to read that. So there you have it. So I, as a barren woman, unfortunately, God didn't give me the ability to have kids. And I know the haters out there are happy about it. But I would say that, you know, it's tragedy. And I'm glad that you have treated hundreds of women who've had abortions. I wish you didn't have to. But it is a real thing, you know? It's a real thing our culture lies about. And so my point here is just because America says it's okay, doesn't mean it's okay. Right? God says it's wrong. And you know, the interesting thing is the Bible says, I believe it's the 6th commandment, thou shalt not murder. You know? It's interesting. Phil Robertson made a point in another one of his videos on CRTV. I watched a couple of him, by the way. You know how all these murders have taken place in churches recently and all around the world, and a lot of them, you know, the number one cry of the liberals is, yeah, let's ban guns because of that. Do you realize that the 6th commandment was put in place before guns even existed? Just a thought. So if you're going to murder somebody, you're going to find a way. It's not going to be a gun. It's going to be the condition of the heart, right? True story, right? Guns don't kill people. People kill people. There you go, right there. What are you looking for?
Dog.
I think he went over there.
Yeah.
Cain had a rock. Yeah, I mean, look at Islam and how they kill people. By the way, we're going to have Robert Spencer on the show from Jihad Watch in a couple of weeks. Just so you know. How do you let them know the other side of the pro-choice beforehand if they knew? Wow, for sure. Thanks for the scope tonight on this topic. Well, I didn't plan on talking about it, but anyway, I'm just kind of talking. Dr. J. John. Hi, John. Dr. John. Nice to meet you. Where do you practice? I'm just curious. I know people in the field, so, you know, I could probably refer to you if I knew where you were. Randall just left. My producer left. Can you believe it? Now is the time to make fun of Randall when he's not here. You should see him play pickleball. That was a joke. Boy, there's a lot of trolls in here tonight too. Now, wouldn't it be funny if all the trolls actually looked like a troll? You guys remember when those pencils had the trolls with the big hair? I kind of look like one. If I shook my head, my hair would... Jane Roe recently passed on. Wish you could have seen that report. She did? You're not talking about Norma McCorvey, are you? Gnomes. Yeah, that's what... Gnomes! Oh, I guess they're different than trolls, right, Jeff? That's funny. You're not talking about Norma... Did Norma McCorvey die? Not that I know of. I'm awesome. Well, I don't... You know... Okay, I'm going to rant about this. The word awesome is overused in our culture. Only God really is awesome. I mean, I appreciate the compliment, but only God really is awesome. I really should stop using the word awesome to describe anybody, because it's not really true. Technically. All right. So how much time we have left? Man, this show went by fast. I think it's because we sang through half of it. All right, Randall. Do you have... Oh, yeah, I guess this is Friday, right? So we go 15 minutes longer on Friday, right?
Yeah. I was gonna...
You're not awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for saying I'm not awesome. I really... I feel good now. And you, just so you know, you are a beautiful treasure in God's eyes. That's right. See, I made this. You guys like that? Okay. If you just came in. Norma did, but she must be credited with her work. Oh, Norma. Okay, gotcha. All right. So, yeah, no, I know it was a joke. I know. I would be crying if I didn't think it was a joke. I feel like they hate me. Anyway,
I was gonna... even the troll makers know that there's a difference. Male and female created they, them. The troll dolls.
The nerve, I say. Yep. Uh-huh. Hey, it's okay. It's all right. Yeah. You know, don't you think those... Okay, don't you think those are discriminatory against
no, I don't.
Bald people? Like Jason that just came in.
Could be.
Hi, Jason.
One could see it that way.
All right, so I got to bring up a controversial topic because this really bugged me. Okay, I was on Instagram earlier today, and there was a guy who posted a cartoon of the Charlie Brown. Was it Thanksgiving or Christmas?
I think it's the Thanksgiving.
It looked like a Thanksgiving, right?
I'm pretty sure that's it.
Do you know which one it is?
I'll look.
Oh wait, here I can find it for you. So this guy called the Real Boyce Watkins, who I don't even know who this guy is. I guess he's a doctor. He's so-called the People's Scholar. He's one of the leading finance experts and social commentators in America, which is weird because I've never heard of the guy, and I'm pretty well read here. Anyway, here I found it. I'll just send you the link here on Facebook. Okay, so this guy went ahead and actually posted this on his Instagram page. This picture here. I want to get your feedback on this graphic because it really bothered me. I'm going to tell you the conversation that took place, and actually one of my Bible News Radio listeners took umbrage with me, if you can believe it. Me, your sweet and lovable host. Because of what I said. Okay, you got the picture?
I'm working on it.
Okay, Randall is working on it. So basically, for those of you who are going to listen to this on the podcast, it's actually a dinner. It's a picture of the Peanut Gang sitting around a table with food on it. Looks like there might be a turkey on there. And you got Sally, Charlie Brown, Peppermint Patty, and Snoopy on one side. You got Linus on one side, and it looks like you have Marcy at the other end of the table, and then you have I don't even know that guy's name. Franklin is the black kid in the Peanuts, right? And so it's the picture there, and then underneath it the subtitle is racism. Sometimes it's subtle. And the point is, okay, there you guys see it. Okay, so the point of this was, and this Real Boyce Watkins guy, his point is that, well, Charles Schulz was a racist, a bigot, and basically, do you see this here? That Franklin, he was sitting all on the one side of the table by himself. It's proof that, in 1965 in December, when the Charlie Brown Christmas thing was put out, that this was completely racist towards Franklin, the black guy, because he's segregated. He's all on one side of the table. And I respond, and I'll tell you what I said after I get your guys' feelings. When you look at this picture, I just want, put a 1 if when you look at it, you think that's completely racist because Franklin is on all by himself on the other side. Put a 1 if you think it's racist. Put a 2 if you never even saw that whatsoever, ever. I mean, that thought didn't even go into your head when you saw that picture. Because I'll tell you what I said, because I was like, Okay, so Melanie put a 2. Kathy says predictive programming. I know the rest of you are going to comment, right? I gotta, So it jumped out at you. Okay. But did it jump out at you because you think it's racist? And or if you're the same race as him? Racist sees racism, says Stephen. Well, what I said when I responded to it on Instagram was, because he says racism, sometimes it's subtle. I responded, inclusion, sometimes that's subtle. Okay, so Jennifer says too, it is separation. Okay, so what I find interesting is I did a quick thing. I actually asked the guy, I said, well, where's the background article about Charles Schulz being a racist when he did this? He couldn't come up with one, of course. Instead, all I found is that, Whoopi Goldberg has actually supported the peanut originator and all that. So if there's any type of racism in it, I don't think Whoopi Goldberg would totally be supporting, the peanut people. When I look at this, you know what I think? First of all, I think you can't see the front of Marcy, who's at the very end of the table, which is kind of sad, but I get it. I get how it was drawn. And number 2, I also think on the right side of the table is Sally and Charlie Brown, who are brother and sister, and then you got Peppermint Patty and Snoopy, who are also very best friends, right? So they're all sitting next to each other. Franklin didn't invite anybody from his family, which is why there's nobody else there on his side. Linus is all by himself, and Marcy is also by herself at the very end. So that's what I thought. I thought, well, there you go. I mean, anyway. I don't know anything about Schulz in that regard, but to me, the pic speaks for itself. I think the picture is showing people who like each other who are actually having a Thanksgiving dinner together. And I think the likes of Al Sharpton, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, and all the others out there who are, race baiting like Obama and Michelle Obama, and all those who just can't see beyond their own color of their skin are just trying to pick a fight and are intolerant about it. It has nothing to do with racism unless you see it there. And I heard a story once. I'm going to share this story with you, and you might actually like this. And it was a good question too. Lucy isn't in there. Yeah, it's discrimination against Lucy. So I heard this story once. There was these 2 people that both moved from their town where they lived, and they moved to a new town. And this guy was saying to them, the one woman, this guy said to the woman, but I also understand that subtle racism is rampant, and I can understand your vantage point. Okay, that's good. Well, I could tell you, what's interesting? I'm going to finish my story, and then I'm going to tell you, I'll tell you this first. Me, as a white woman, blonde, highly educated, awesome hair, etc., you would not realize how much I've been discriminated against. But I don't go walking around with a chip on my shoulder and go, oh my gosh, I'm under attack because I've been discriminated against because I'm highly educated, because I am highly educated. I have a master's degree. I'm in the top 2% of the world's population of women who are educated at a master's level. Anyway, long story short, I don't let that define me. I don't let other people define me, right? I let God define me, and that's the most important. But anyway, so here's the thing. So this couple, these 2 people who moved from one place to another, this guy was talking to him and said, hey, how is it, to the woman? He goes, so, how was it where you lived? And what do you think of where you live now? And the woman says to him, you know what, where I lived, it's nothing but a bunch of jerks, a bunch of buttheads. It was miserable. And you know what, where I live today, my neighbors, same thing, jerks, Miserable? Nah. You know, I really don't like it here, just so you know. And the guy goes, well, then that's really too bad. And what about you? The other guy says, you know what? Where I left, it was awesome. There's so many great people there. And you know where I live now? It's totally awesome. Awesome. What's the difference? You know, people often want to blame people for their perceptions, and you know, they try to get away from a problem by moving. But the problem is, your problem is usually in your head. So unless you get rid of yourself, you're not gonna get rid of the problem, because wherever you go, there you are, right? Right. There you go. So if you're gonna look for a problem, guess what? You're gonna find it. If you're gonna look for racism, you're gonna find it. If you're gonna look for the good, you're gonna find that. If you're gonna look for the compromise, the humanity of it all, we all bleed the same, like Mandisa said. If you look for that, you'll find that. Amen? You're a black male and have heard this argument too many times, and this is part of the issue. Yeah, I think the black community needs to clean up the black community. That's the truth. And, you know, I was in grad school, and I had 2 black female friends in my program when I was in grad school with them. And coming from them, that's what they said. They said the black community needs to clean up the black community. Bill Cosby has stated that. And, well, you know, just saying. You know, we all have it. I mean, there's, quote, white trash. Okay, well, the white trash community has to clean up the white trash community. Right? But the thing is really, why do we have to divide on that? Why can't we all just be the same? We all bleed the same, right? If I cut you, you're going to bleed red. If you cut me, I'm going to bleed red. None of us, not one of us, had a choice in what color we are. And by the way, I just discovered I'm Jewish. I didn't have a choice in that either. Just saying. Drives me nuts, people. Drives me crazy. Drives me up a wall, actually. I hate it. To all my good black friends, say the same thing. Yeah. Okay. Lower power. Okay. I got to plug in my phone here. It's about ready to die. All right. So, yeah. And you know what? It's really sad. I heard Janet Parshall say this. I love Janet. Janet is a talk show host on the East Coast. She actually made this comment a long time ago. She said, do you know that the church is the most segregated place on Sunday morning? Did you know that? It's true, you know, and so really the church, oops, I just dropped my phone. I know, I was trying not to do it. I should have charged it ahead, dang it. But I didn't. Stop it. So the thing is, you know what, you can only control you. Right? True story. And if you want to act like a victim, then guess what? You're going to be a victim your whole life. Oh, which reminds me, if you want to join the Unstuck Club, you can join it. It's free. I will help you become unstuck. But only if you want to be unstuck. If you want to remain stuck, well then guess what? You will remain stuck. But this is a free club. It's weekly inspiration to move you forward. I think I got over 3 hours of free stuff in there now. You can go to bit.ly/unstuckclub and do that. Get unstuck. In fact, I didn't do one this week, which, you know, I was thinking I should. Well, I'll do one this week. Like Sunday, I'll do it. All right. So there you have it. Oops. Okay, Randall, do you want to say anything?
Well,
I feel like I've addressed nothing but nice, fun topics tonight.
Yeah, well, you were going on about just racism and talking about this, you know, the Thanksgiving, the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, whatever, and that started all this. I thought, that's kind of interesting. What other, you know, other appearances of Franklin in the comics, and they're kind of interesting. This one I thought was interesting here. I'll put it up. People saw it very shortly between scenes. But basically, it's Marcy. She says, "Why should I look? I know what I got." And then Franklin holds up his paper. He says, "Hey, how about that?" Marcy says, I got an F on the test. Franklin, what did you get? He said, I got a B. I'm very happy. Marcy says, I think I got an F because I have a big nose. Sometimes a teacher just doesn't like the way a kid looks. She also said, if a teacher doesn't like your looks, there's nothing you can do. I've got a big nose, so I fail. It's as simple as that. Franklin says, let me see your paper. Let me see your test paper. He looks at it and he says, this paper is blank. You turned it a blank test paper. And Marcy says, if a teacher doesn't like your looks, Franklin, there's nothing you can do. And anyway, so.
Well, you know what I think is interesting? 1965, yes. The racial issues during the 60s, frankly, was before I was born, just so you know. But during that time, right, and this was this guy's point, was, well, it was during the 60s.
Right.
Okay,
And,
well, yes, and think about it. Charles Schulz, he put a black character in the comic in the 60s because he was such a bigot and a hater and a racist.
Yeah,
and he portrayed that black comic character as a slave and as an idiot and as somebody who was, you know, horrible, right? Give me a break. He actually portrayed that character as very intellectual and smart.
Indeed.
And did it during a time when that wasn't popular. So to come off and say that this is a racist comic is asinine.
Yeah.
Okay, just saying. It's stupid. It's not racism at all. It's bullshit. I'm sorry I said that out loud, but it is. It's bullshit. That's what it is. It's bullshit. And if you believe it, then you're you know what? You're stepping in a cow patty and you need to scrape it off your foot. Because it's bullshit. I'm sorry, but it just makes me mad when I hear that because it's not true.
Let's just say for a matter of fact that in the 60s it was this subtle racist thing. Well, okay, to say that there's racism in the 60s
drives me crazy.
Racism in the 60s, yeah, there definitely were. There definitely was. You know, South Africa in the 80s, you know, very racist, just so you know. You know, 70, 60, very, even more so, than the U.S. And so, you know, to say something, you know, factual, there was racism in the 60s. Okay, yes, we know it wasn't good then. You know what? I never saw in the Peanuts, I never saw an Asian character of any kind.
The nerve.
Think about that.
I know. Well, Charles Schulz should be crucified because of that. No, I mean, it's ridiculous.
I don't recall a Latino character either.
But yeah.
Anyway, I'm off on a tangent. Yeah, where I was going with that.
There wasn't a gay character either in the Peanuts back then either. And you know what? How bigoted and homophobic was he back then? Yeah. All right. Just saying.
And racism continues in all sorts of places of the world.
I think I understand more than you think.
Yeah. Racism exists all over the world. Should we be complacent about it? Definitely not. It's
right.
Wrong. But I think to pick something out in the 60s and say this was that, and to somehow, castigate or somehow, say that, bring something on that to the present day, I'm not articulating this well. It's like, if you want to talk about racism today, let's talk about racism today. To find a cartoon, a frame from the 60s cartoon and say, look, it's subtle.
No, we are not pro-abortion here.
Look, racism, sometimes it's subtle, as, to bring up a talking point, about today, it just seems out of place to me. Let's talk about present examples if we're going to do it, instead of kind of putting, superimposing something, onto something from the past and bringing it into the, present. I think let's look at valid examples from today instead of something like that. I guess maybe it's clever or something.
Okay, but
I don't know. I just think anyway. I just think that sometimes people go out of the way to, instead of to resolve issues or address issues, create dialogue. Looking to instigate issues, and there's people that make a living off of that.
Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Barack Hussein Obama, who's half black, by the way.
Yeah.
He isn't whole black. Just so you know, Obama isn't all black, so you can't really claim him for your own, because he's half white too. Just so you know. But
anyway, wherever it is. Anyway,
don't let the facts get in the way.
Anyway, we've talked about this too long, probably.
But no, the point you're making is valid, because look, this black man who is a well-known social commentator who I've never heard of, actually he's race baiting by putting that up. He's saying that it's subtle racism. It's baloney. And you know what I just said earlier? That's really what I thought. It is. It's completely. There's a difference between saying something's racist and being racist. Okay, that's a good point.
Indeed.
And the thing is Charles Schulz, Peanuts creator, was not racist. He wasn't. And so for that guy to take that cartoon and make that comment it's a lie. And I find it offensive that he's gotten so offended that I don't agree with him, so as to attack me. It's like, really? Just because I don't agree with you doesn't mean that you have to attack me. Mature adults, see, this is the thing. Mature adults are actually tolerant, not the fake tolerance of the homosexual liberal lobby, which says, well, unless you agree with me on everything, then you're really not tolerant.
Yeah,
What? I don't agree with Randall on everything, and according to how we look on the screen, he looks like a black man compared to me. I married a man of color, just so you know.
Yeah.
He's a darker color than me.
Anyway.
And, so there you go. I'm totally a racist because...
Anyway, I thought that your comment was equally or more valid, that sometimes inclusion is subtle.
Which was my point. My point is, look, here he is being included, but you're not focusing on that. Instead, you're trying to pull out the negative. Why aren't you looking at the positive? That's my point.
In the mid-'60s of all time.
Right.
That
drives me crazy.
I was just one more. I said we talked about this too much, but this introduction of the character in the Peanuts comic strip. Franklin he's on the porch of Charlie Brown's house. And Linus says, if you're looking for Charlie Brown, I don't think he's home. Franklin says, I wonder if I should wait. Linus says, why not? By the way, my name is Linus. Franklin says, hi, I'm Franklin. Linus says, I'm very glad to know you. And Linus says, while we're waiting, would you like to hear a few words about the Great Pumpkin? Anyway, so...
The Great Pumpkin. Now, there's something we can all agree on, unless we happen to be anti-pumpkin eaters.
I don't know.
And I know there's some of you out there who hate pumpkins, so to you, be gone. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. Do you believe in the Great Pumpkin?
I do believe in the Great Pumpkin in the cartoon. Yes, I do. In real life...
As presented in the cartoon?
I don't actually remember what the role of the Great Pumpkin is.
Doesn't the Great Pumpkin rise from the pumpkin patch on Halloween night and give toys to the children, good boys and girls? Anyway.
The pumpkin was a foreshadowing of Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny combined?
I don't know.
What? Okay, whatever. All right, so before we forget...
Pumpkin might make a...
If you want to donate to Bible News Radio, because we're so loving and non-tolerant and intolerant, we're hateful and bigots and stuff. If you want to donate to us, I painted all these over the weekend. Donate $5 or more, and I'll send you a couple of these in the mail. I'll laminate them if you want, or I'll put your favorite quote or comment on there. Just go over to BibleNewsRadio.com/give, and you can do that. And I have bigger ones, too. Some really big ones. These here were all hand-painted by me. Oops. Isn't that pretty? Don't you want that in your mailbox? Call it Happy Mail from the Harps. Anyway, go over there. Also, don't forget our actual Black Friday's, I know, don't hate me for saying the word black, sale. You know what it's called, black sale, right? Because it means people are spending money and people are in the black. They're not black. It's because
They're not in the red.
Anyway, 50% off.
Are you making a profit?
My Stop Lying to Yourself. Which you actually need to listen to that message, that class. 50% off. It's the biggest discount I've given all year on it. I think it brings it down to $14.50. Just go to my Twitter account. It's there. Okay, wait. Oops. Yeah. Oh, there you go. BNR 50. Yes, being in the black is a good thing. Yeah. Okay.
We're way over time here.
Are we?
Yeah.
We're not way over. Carnivores are good. Okay, so let me tell you next week who our guests are. Stephen Black, who is in the show, he stayed here. He is our guest on Wednesday. We're going to talk about his book. Oh, gosh. What? What's your title of your book again, Stephen? Dang it. I just left my head. I know it's something revisited or no, wait, that's not right. What's the name of your book? Freedom Realized. There you go. Okay, so Stephen is a former homosexual. Oh my gosh. Can you believe he even exists? I know the liberal media doesn't think people like Stephen should exist, but he does. He's been on our show before. Anyway, he is going to be our guest Wednesday. On Tuesday, we're going to interview the president of a publishing company that puts out waterproof Bibles. And we have a special just for our Bible News Radio listeners from my guest. His name is Bobby, and he's going to be on Tuesday to talk about waterproof Bibles and waterproof notebooks. Yes, they do exist. They totally rock. And Bible News Radio has a deal coming up for you guys. These would make a perfect gift for anybody who does a job or even just if you want a waterproof Bible. I own one. It's the coolest thing ever. I mean, seriously, they're totally cool. So I just want to encourage you to come Tuesday too, because this is definitely going to be a good week. So those are the two people I have booked. But I'm going to be trying to book Robert Spencer from Jihad Watch. He's going to come on. Then I have Carol Kent, a former woman of faith. She'll be coming on in the future. Rabbi Model Balston will be coming on. Steve Saccone will be on. Vince Antonucci will be coming on in December. January, I'm already booking for January. I have Moody Radio talk show host Chris Fabry coming on in January and all that. And anyway, it's gonna be great. So we have a lot of great people coming up. So stay tuned for more on Bible News Radio in the future, where we here at Bible News Radio, we dare to talk about the Bible and the news on Periscope. We should call this Bible News Periscope, but it's not really. It's anyway, let's see. What else was I going to tell you? I think that was it. Is that it? Am I forgetting anything? We love Bible News Radio. I know. You know what I do, too? I love Bible News Radio. Oh, and by the way, somebody recently bought a T-shirt or something from our store, a Bible News Radio stuff. Thank you, whoever did that. We really appreciate it. A lot. Okay, so don't forget, join the Unstuck Club. Somebody else said, you mean the Stuck Up Club? No, the Unstuck Club. How long have we been on? John, I actually have been broadcasting for about 12 years. And we started out doing a podcast in 2005. And then we basically evolved doing our podcast 2 years ago when we found Periscope. We slowly transitioned it into a video show, basically. But I actually still do I still rip the audio from this and I put it up on our podcast. Yeah, it is really cool. I've had the blessing of interviewing a lot of cool people, meeting thousands of people, probably done about 1,200 interviews easy by now. And I mean, I've had, and I'm not boasting when I say this, but because most people don't know unless I say, but I've had people on like Dr. Ben Carson, who I thought was probably in the top 10 of the people I've gotten to interview who are really, really, well known. I've had most of the Duck Dynasty family on the show. I've had Amy Grant on the show. I'm just trying to think. A lot of people you would know if you're in the world of Christian media and stuff. Had Stephen Black on the show numerous times. Bible News, yeah. Okay, these repeat bots are driving me crazy. Yeah, we've had I've had Pamela Geller on our show, who is Jewish. I'm just trying to think of maybe people. I've had Dr. Tim Clinton on. You might know him. I've had him on in the past. I've interviewed Kay Warren. Would love to see that Carson show. Somebody tweet it. It's over on, that one would be on our Blog Talk Radio channel. If you go to blogtalkradio.com/AC Media, you'd have to search through the archives there. You can,
audio only.
It's audio only. Let's see. I don't know. But anyway, we've had a lot of people. And we are on YouTube. If you go to youtube.com/user/Stacey Harp, that's our Bible News Radio. Actually, if you just go to the Linktree link here in Periscope, if you just click that Linktree link and go there, that will take you to everything. I have like 10 or 12 links in there. You can just click through on all those. All right. Is the church concentered the hospital for the soul? Linktree. Yeah, it's in our bio, Steve. Okay. All right, Bareface, you got any other comments?
Don't want to address that question.
Do you want to answer it? I don't mind answering it.
Let me... I need to undo some stuff here, and I was getting ready to end, but yeah, is the hospital considered, or is the church considered a hospital for the soul? People talk about that, a church being a hospital for wounded sinners, but the church, as I understand it from Scripture, the church is a place for believers. And rather than modern seeker-sensitive churches, congregations that want to invite sinners in and entertain them and hopefully,
AKA Joel Osteen, AKA Willow Creek, AKA Saddleback Church in California, AKA the Crystal Cathedral.
Just get them in the door where they can hear the gospel. The Great Commission, the commission that Yeshua, that Jesus gave, was to go into the world and make disciples. It is the job of church members, the congregation, believers, to go out and in their going make disciples. In fact, in the Greek there, the imperative command is make disciples. The verb that's translated go is in the anyway.
Oh my gosh, you're having a brain fart on our show. I can't believe it. Joel Comm would be so happy that you had a fart. You could go into his iFart app and
it's a verb tense that we don't have in English. Anyway, basically it's assumed as having done. It's like a foretelling that having gone, therefore, would be a better translation. It's assumed that you're going out and doing whatever. In the grocery store, at pickleball or whatever. Having gone, make disciples. Having gone, therefore, make disciples. Anyway, so no, I wouldn't consider the church a hospital for souls. I would consider the gospel, the Christ Himself, who says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, I will give you rest." So I would consider Yeshua, Christ Himself, as a hospital, if you will, a physician for weary souls. But the church itself, the institution, not a building, but the church made of believers, of living stones, that is an evangelistic entity.
You know what that reminds me? We forgot to mention the pillars of the community.
I had a graphic up earlier, but...
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is another person we've had on our show, Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis.
McGinnis.
So, McGinnis, yeah, him. a Pentagon insider. We've had him on. He's going to come on for a whole show and talk about this book, The Deeper State. We're going to get him on, too. That'd be fun. Oops. And we've had Cheryl Chumley on our show, too. All right, anyway.
Yeah, we should wrap this up.
Okay. All right, you guys. So I will see you on Sunday in the Unstuck Club. If you want to get encouraged and all that stuff, just join it. It's free. If you want to support Bible News Radio, become a pillar of the community, donate to our show, request some nice paintings from me. And I will ship internationally, too. But you're going to have to cover the shipping for that. And what else? Oh, Your Secrets Are Not Secret. Stop Lying to Yourself on sale. 50% off just this weekend. It's the lowest price ever. Okay? So, there you go. And Randall's giving me the twirly finger, which I believe means wrap it up, Stacy. Okay, so as I always say at the end of every show, unless my perimenopausal brain gets in there first and I forget, be bold. Stand up and go with God because he loves you. And I'll see you later.